Blerds, the work, Mike D, J Supreme, Blerds, the work, Z Ali, Captain Kirk, Blerds, the work, circa 85, Tobias Black. Welcome to episode 15 of Blerds, the Word Podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Mike D. Out there with co-host Jay Supreme.
Yo, I said yo.
Yo. What's good? What's good, homie? Yo, in the building with us tonight, we got the artist Tobias Black.
Peace. What's goody?
Yo, I cannot wait for y'all on YouTube to see the Jiraiya headband that Tobias Black is rocking today. Yo, that shit's dope as hell, man.
It's Sage mode, man. You know what I'm saying?
Sage. God, you bringing back memories, man. All right. So let's go ahead and move into Captain Kirk. What's happening, brother?
Yo, people. How you doing? Alex, just get credit where it's due, bro. Tobias, make sure you get credit who put you on this game.
No doubt, man. Yeah, you the Kakashi sensei of that.
Most of us have to bow down and acknowledge that Cap was the first to watch Naruto and convince most of us here to pick up the journey.
Hey, before you continue, if you say Naruto again, like the way
he be butchering
just about to say
Naruto. Who the fuck is Naruto? Who is that?
Y'all on dirt.
Naruto.
Heard on dirt
we lose
already.
Hey, man. hey, we lose a fan every episode. We say that shit.
Somebody's goddamn Naruto.
Motherfucker, not a blurred.
I didn't realize that was such a big thing, too, because you're right. People do get offended by that shit. Like, the pronunciation of it is a big thing for folks. Excuse me, fans. Please don't leave the show. I apologize to all the fans. Excuse me. I am still new. All right, but last but not least, in the studio, we got Mace, the Great.
Y'all say the best for last, I see. Hey, first I want to say Captain Kirk, he on dirt already. Last episode, he was saying people don't read enough. Now he's saying he coming at you. He pronounce stuff, bro. Like
out the gate.
Yo, ever since he started wearing them glasses, right? Bro, it's like he want to correct everybody and shit. I don't know what it is.
Hey, so let me be clear. I gotta wear glasses for your bright ass face, and I gotta wear glasses for that ice cream cone in the back of Mace the Great background. So that's why I went
Hold on, it's a popsicle. Don't you disrespect it. It's a popsicle.
Calm down.
Called you Malcolm.
I'm trying to learn something. Come on.
Thank you all for listening and for tuning in to another episode. We're really excited today. It's also the latest that we've ever recorded, so that you might hear some glasses jingling in the background. We are having Blerds After Dark today, unofficially. So you may hear some glasses. You may hear a few of us drinking in the background. It's going to make for a more entertaining show. Before we jump into topics, Jay Supreme, you got to... What's up?
Listen,
what's on your mind?
I saw this picture floating around the internet. Social media.
Okay.
Who loved their girl the most? Jason from Jason's Lyric. Forrest from Forrest Gump. Hold on. Steve from Family Matters. Jody from Baby Boy. I know. My man's from Brown Sugar. And my man's from The Notebook.
Damn, you had to throw Notebook in there. I thought we was just doing Forrest Gump.
Man.
Who love their girl the most?
It got to be
Forrest Gump.
I was gonna say that's got to be everybody's choice.
I don't know, man.
That's got to be everybody's choice,
bruh.
Forrest did everything for Jenny. Like let her go off, have her own life. He was loving her through all types of shit. She came back and finally, because she had AIDS, decided, you know what?
Hey, he came out with the punches.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it to him now. I mean, really, that's what happened. If you think about it, she went out and lived her best life, and it wasn't until she got AIDS that she came back to Forrest like, I guess I could make this work.
She had a baby too.
And he loved her anyway.
Baby too.
Yeah,
That one Forrest baby.
I think that was Forrest's baby, wasn't it?
I mean,
Yeah, I think that was
can we
Forrest's
really
kid.
definitively say that was his kid?
Right.
I mean, he never went on Maury, but the kid acted just like him. I mean, it was assumed.
That was nurture. You know what I mean? Like Forrest was raising him a little bit, so he's picking up some habits. Jenny was the biggest villain of all time, bro.
Yep.
If you think about it, she was dirty. Like she was dirty across the board. I would say my man from The Notebook. He built a crib. He wrote her a letter every day. He kissed her. He kissed her passionately in the rain.
Yeah. And he didn't break up with her when he asked her what did she want, and she didn't really have an answer.
What do you want?
He's also a murderer, though.
Is he a murderer?
Can we acknowledge
What
that he's a murderer? Well, look, I mean, he did it out of love, but let's not forget that at the end of the movie, he slipped his wife a death
he
pill
didn't.
so that they could fuck. Yes, he did. That's how
No,
the movie
she
is. Go
died
back and
on
watch
her
it.
own.
A lot of people. No, she didn't. She had dementia, and he decided to give her a special dose of some medicine to put them both to sleep forever. That is how the movie
Nah, I
actually
don't remember
ends.
that
And a lot
shit.
of people, like my wife,
This
didn't
one,
remember it
though,
too because I had to go
nah.
back and watch it with her because like a lot of people that went over their heads. But he invited the kids over so they could have one last time visit with them. And after that, they went in their room. He slipped some medicine to
Nah,
it. He
I gotta
took it
see that
himself,
again, bro.
and they fell asleep and both
You
died
said
in
he's
their
on some
sleep.
Romeo and Juliet type shit?
Yes. Go back and rewatch the ending. I'm telling you it happens. And that's the only reason why I won't say he's the best because he also murdered him and his wife. I mean, I'm sure at that point she won't remember, probably won't hold it against him in heaven. But I mean, she was, she was murdered.
Nah, I'm not, nah, bro. But what? All right.
Go back and
What
watch
about
it.
Steve though? He loved the girl that didn't want him at all until he transformed into somebody else.
He had to become a whole different person.
Like,
Yeah, Laura was leading him on. Yeah.
I could agree.
Yeah.
But
He didn't go through as much shit though.
Shit.
I mean,
Well,
he
he
changed
watched
himself.
that girl have boyfriend after boyfriend,
Yeah, he did. But
boyfriend.
eventually he moved on. He grabbed him a little chick,
and true.
Right.
She was bad.
She was Myra. Yeah, Myra was cold.
R.I.P. She died way
mean,
too
Yo,
young.
what's
y'all
up with
leaving
you in death right now, bro? Like,
Oh, you talking about
just saying.
that's that
She
dress
did.
he got.
I am getting a little
Hey,
negative vibes over there.
Yeah,
That's
man.
what's going on.
we need to burn some sage on this motherfucker.
My bad.
Hey, you know they saying sage is witchcraft now.
Who said that shit?
They calling
Oh.
it witchcraft.
Which is a perfect segue into our first topic.
Yeah, I knew I was on to something.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it. All right, so let's jump into topics because we got to wrap the show that we've been talking about since the season started, which is WandaVision. We got to get into it. I see Jay Supreme already shaking his head. He has been waiting all week to come back and talk about it because we got a chance to see the finale. We got a chance to finally get some type of conclusion. And, I know we all have opinions about it, but let's start just by asking a few questions. We'll get there, Jay.
Nah, we good.
Let me ask y'all a few questions.
Don't even come to
all
me
right?
first. Let me hear what y'all.
right,
I just want to
so-
know who's gonna say I was right. Who's gonna say? Just who
Look.
gonna say that?
We'll get there. We'll get there. All right, but IGN just recently published an article explaining how WandaVision changed the MCU forever by setting up certain themes in Phase 4, expanding magic to include the supernatural, introducing S.W.O.R.D., and potentially their new director, Rambo, and leaving the door open for other teams like Young Avengers, which Wanda's two boys become a part of later, the Avengers of the Supernatural, which includes Strange, Blade, and some other folks. So my first question out to y'all is, did WandaVision leave you feeling hopeful or concerned about Marvel's Phase 4? And I'll go to you first.
Why
Jay
you go to me
Supreme.
first? Don't go to me first. No,
Because you
I
asked
don't-
to. Yo,
No, let me hear what y'all got to say. Go to somebody else. Let's hear from Tobias Black.
Tobias
Yeah.
Black. Tobias Black. Let's go to you. Did it leave you feeling more hopeful or concerned about Marvel's Phase 4?
It didn't leave me concerned about Phase 4. It just messed me up for the show as a single show. I'm still excited for Phase 4. It's a lot of movies I want to see. a lot of shows I want to see. You know, it didn't deter me, but I was let down by that finale. Like I was hoping and wishing it was like more to that finale, but it didn't. To answer your question, it didn't mess me up for Phase 4. Nah.
Okay, Captain Kirk.
Nah, I think it would have had to be terribly bad to like mess up my expectations for Phase 4. It was decent. You know, that's the thing I've been saying from the beginning. It was a decent show. I just feel like it didn't open up the possibilities of you know, future problems to me. It just introduced different elements, but it ain't elaborate. But it's something that it could kind of build on. So it's cool. I ain't more excited for Phase 4 though.
It didn't make you feel any more excited about it.
Nah. I was just like, this cool, this good, but it wasn't like I'm hyped to what's next from Wanda and Vision.
Okay, that's fair. Mace, you shake your head. You agree?
Me hyped. I can't wait.
Get the fuck out of here.
Can't wait. I cannot wait.
He's trolling. He
No, I'm
trolling.
dead ass. I'm serious. It got me hyped. Man.
Okay.
It got me hyped.
That's fair. That's his opinion. Now, what about it got you hyped? Like, which part of the whole series made you feel hyped for the Phase
I know.
4?
Look at Jay Supreme. Like, you down there laughing. But look, okay, it's not. Y'all were expecting so much from it, you know. Y'all were. I mean, for one, okay, it was the first like Marvel show or Marvel whatever in a while, and it's gonna just lead us into the next phase. Like, I mean, well, we're already in the phase, but it's gonna just lead us on to the next thing.
Here.
And then at the end, I mean, you saw what happened at the end, right? Y'all stayed for the credits, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey,
You saw the end credits.
I can't wait.
Hey, what was she doing?
Yes,
She was
she
reading.
did.
She was reading. Okay.
She was
man.
reading that book.
I just think, I think they
She was reading. Okay.
they toy with us, man.
Right. They setting it up, man. They setting it up.
Nah,
Okay,
they-
wait,
they-
hold
they
on,
slapped-
hold on.
they
Hold
slapped
on,
us in the
wait,
face,
wait.
man.
It's Marvel. Just wait. You know, give it a little
I've been
time.
hearing that shit all fucking season. Been hearing that all
It's
season.
Marvel, man. Come on, bro.
Jay, you the only one that haven't given an opinion yet. So you answer the question now. Did it make you feel more hopeful or concerned about the state of Marvel's Phase 4?
It didn't move the needle one way or the other.
Okay.
It didn't. It didn't make me more excited. It didn't make me less excited. And
Okay.
I was more so disappointed than anything. But I guess as y'all would say, you know, it's Marvel. Give them time. They getting it together. They gotta do things slow, and they can't just give us everything all at one time. And this shit is basically like, did we really need WandaVision? Because I feel like they really didn't expand the universe. Everything that they showed, it could have been added in a movie. It could have been added somewhere else where they didn't have to focus on a series to do so, like Sword. They could have introduced Sword in the next Captain Marvel or fucking Doctor Strange, right? They could have Monica. They could have introduced her in the same fashion. Especially, they definitely could have introduced her into Captain Marvel, because that's who the connection is with, right? Like, they could have went so many ways with trying to introduce us to things that we didn't. I don't even think we really needed a WandaVision. And I'm gonna say I know it's more questions, so I'm gonna save.
Okay.
What
all
else
right.
I gotta say?
Well, let me ask a follow-up question real quick. Tobias Black, Captain Kirk, I'm coming to you all for this one. You know, Jay just explained what he felt disappointed by. He felt Monica and Sword, you know, was disappointing, could have been done different ways. What in particular did you all feel disappointed with as far as the finale was concerned?
All right. I'm gonna try to be as quick with this as possible, but it was one line in which Monica said, "They don't know what you've been through,"
Oh my God!
which was it missed the ball in this, right? How you gonna make the person a victim that victimize everybody else? Like, the whole point of this, to me, is build up to her being a problem. She is a problem. She was selfish, and when she is not emotionally stable, she can be a problem for the universe, right? They missed that. They tried to make her, us empathize with her, and I get that, but she ain't fucking Killmonger. You get what I'm
Facts.
saying? Like she
Right.
she lost a robot. She lost a robot, an android, and 2 fake kids, and she had the audacity. They had the audacity to write that in the script. They would never know what you've been through. When you're looking at a town full of people that lost everything for months, you get what I mean? So it's kind of like that shit took away everything I thought the show was going to be. And kind of like, man, this shit corny. I was like, fuck Vision and her little goodbye. Like, it's 2 visions. It's 2
Bro,
visions.
you know what was
That's
crazy?
real.
And I don't mean to jump in, but like, cause I didn't want to say what you just said because I knew you was going to say that shit. But like, even with Monica saying, I would have did the same thing. Like, what the fuck was that? That shit it was supposed to have been about grieving and shit, right? But like, nah, man, that shit was whack as hell.
She was kind of good.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same.
Yeah, but she was evil. She was that was what she did was fucking evil.
But yeah, and the director came out this week and kind of talked about how that was a choice. That was a decision that they made not to make the show end in terms of her being punished for what she did and leaving that door open. But it is weird, and you all aren't the only ones. A lot of fans have been online like, how are we skipping or ignoring the fact that she victimized this entire town and just got to walk away from it as if nothing happened? Like, she wasn't arrested. Nobody came to punish her for what she had done to this town. So she just got to basically walk away. And there is some fair criticism around that. Tobias Black, real quick,
White privilege.
what were you left disappointed in terms of the finale?
That's what that is. That's white privilege.
Yeah, that was one of my main things too. What was that line? I was gonna bring that up. And then I just think the finale was rushed. It could have been a 2-parter. I think they just threw some. I don't say they threw some stuff together. I just think they rushed it. I think it should have been another episode. And I just think that a lot of it was just a slap in the face, man. Like, a lot of with WandaVision, they could have set up a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It could have been so many avenues they could have done. You know, it was so many. Like, they could have let the fans with their theories dictate that show. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just so many ways they could have done it, and all we ended up with was Vision's back alive, and Monica's gonna see Nick Fury. That's all I took away from it. You know what I'm saying? So I was disappointed in that aspect. Far as the finale, you know what I'm saying?
Amazing.
So,
This is amazing. He got a full 180.
the show, hey, look,
This
the
is
show,
amazing.
the show,
I'm surprised I'm hearing this. This is amazing.
the show going up.
As I clench my
The
pearls.
show leading up to the finale, I was enjoying it. I was enjoying the whole mystery and, the I Spy, catching the clues and stuff like that. Like, man, that's dope. That's in the comics, I was enjoying all that. I just think the payoff was a dud, man. It was a dud.
Man.
Well, let's talk about that next, because one of the biggest duds that has been discussed, and I'm surprised nobody mentioned it yet, but I think it's a perfect place to talk about it. Came with Quicksilver. Many fans, including myself, had complained about how the finale wrapped up the mystery around Quicksilver. According to an interview with WandaVision's writer Jack Schaefer, the inclusion of Evan Peters' version of Quicksilver wasn't meant as a gimmick, but rather a meta commentary on TV recasting. Like, think of Aunt Viv and Fresh Prince, how they used to swap a character out with a new actor or actress and just not explain it and pretend as if she or he is the same person. In addition, she says it was meant to show how sometimes we deal with loss and trauma by tricking ourselves into seeing things that we know aren't there to bring us some sense of solace. My question is, which do you think will be remembered? Her intentions here, or the disappointment many felt when fans learned Evan Peters was just some inspiring Westview actor named Ralph Boner? And I'm going to go to you first, Cap.
Yeah, I do feel like it was misleading. However, I do feel like they intentionally did that to kind of get like a pop, because that was at like episode 5, something like that, like the middle of it.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm not tripping because I know eventually mutants are coming. But when we saw him, that was like our segue into, yo, this how they about to, he from the other universe. But they can't predict how we gonna react to it. But they know damn well they brought him over to. I get the recast and stuff. I just feel like it could have been. I feel like I wanted more from the closure of Evan Peters, and it was just like that was like a sad thing, and I didn't want it to be that. I wanted to be it ended with him being identified as Evan Peters or Quicksilver from Fox or something like that. But it's cool. We'll get our mutants, so I'm all good. I ain't tripping.
Okay.
What did the
Tobias?
what did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap. That's what they did to me, man.
So you don't care about her intentions.
No.
You like, yeah, that's all well and good, but
Bro.
you still disappointed.
Bro,
by it.
that's like them bringing in Wolverine or something. You know what I'm saying? Everybody getting hype, and then all of a sudden like, oh, he's just a
regular guy.
he's a pigment. Yeah, he's a regular. Like, come on, man. They knew what they was doing with that, man. They told people.
Yeah.
They told each other emotions in that one, man. Like, nah, I wasn't feeling that at all.
Yeah.
That was whack.
Well, Mace, you were of all of us, I think the most excited for it. Did you feel let down at all by that, or did you feel like, you know, hey, this is, you know, part of the show. It's part of what they were trying to trying to do is like mislead, misdirect. What did you think?
All right, okay, that was the only thing that pretty much upset. Because that was okay.
Right.
Doesn't change how I feel. I'm still hyped. But that was a missed opportunity. They could have, like, you know, used that, and, you know, they could have used that as a way to bring in a parallel universe or something, a multiverse. I don't know, man. That part I feel like they did miss with that one, you know. But
Yeah.
I'm still hyped.
Okay, he's like I'm still hyped, but that was some bullshit.
That was
but
bullshit.
and then finally, Jay, I think it all
I think
comes down to
I'm
Jay.
enjoying this. I don't even gotta say nothing. Y'all voicing the disappointment that I've been sharing the whole fucking season. Like I've been saying this shit, and I've been trying to what do you call it? Help y'all level your expectations, and no one has been listening. And then you didn't feel that shit until the last episode. So it was like, I hate to say I told you so, but God damn it, I told y'all so.
Nah, the show as a whole wasn't bad, bro.
I'm not saying the
to
show
me-
was no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, Tobias. I'm not saying the show was bad. What I'm saying is they had so many missed opportunities to catapult the next phase, and I feel like they didn't do it. Even with bringing in Quicksilver from Fox, they could have used that alone to just to do something better than what they did, instead of saying he was a regular guy from the town. They knew damn well that shit was going to tug on our emotions. They knew damn well we was going to be more interested to see the next episode because they showed him. And then if you didn't know what was going on between the first couple episodes, by the 4th episode, you was probably contemplating if you was going to really continue watching this show. So then when that shit happened, at the last second and him showing up at the door, you like, oh shit, we had Quicksilver. They about to do mutants. Like, they knew what the hell they was doing. So from episode 5 to episode 9, we were still wondering about how they was gonna introduce mutants and shit. Like, they knew what the hell they was doing. It was manipulation, and it's fucked up that they did that. Now, the show to me was a good show, but like outside of them actually like doing something that they could have done better, it was just a show. It was just a regular TV show. Like it wasn't super special. It wasn't special at all. Like, I don't even know why I'm ranking this. I don't even know why I'm gonna rank it, because it's not like top 5.
Well,
or top
we
10.
getting there next, so you better come up with your answer to that, because we're gonna be ranking it or at least rating it in just a second. But to echo, you know, what you were saying, I will go ahead and say, you know, Jay was right in that this did not bear fruit. A lot of us were expecting it to, and so I'll be the first to admit you were right. You know, it did not amount to anything. Weeks on end, I kept wanting to, you know, say, hey, look, you know, we don't know where this is leading. It has to build into something. but I never expected for it to just not lead anywhere. That was never on my mind. I was like, they're gonna explain it somehow. It's gonna be the multiverse. It could be mutants. It could be, but never did I think it would just be a regular actor from and some way of like some meta within a meta like that. When I read her explanation for it, I understood where she was coming from. But to your point, I don't see how they could not have known the impact that it would have had. Like I hear you, Cap, in terms of like you don't always know what the audience will take away from something, but it's hard for me to think that in making that decision, somebody didn't say, well, don't you think that's going to raise questions about how we're folding in Fox's properties? And if nobody told them, hey, this might be taken a different way, it just, to me, it sounds a little tone deaf to say, well, that's not what we intended. We intended it to be this, and we weren't trying to make it a gimmick. But the gimmick is what a lot of people felt, right?
Hell yeah.
So now that it's all said and done,
hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Just to piggyback off what Captain Kirk was saying, as far as like how they missed the opportunity of like really making her an issue outside, really making her like she's unstable, she's a problem, right? They didn't even like when they went back in time, like why did they do that? Right? Like it just makes you think about every other episode, like why did they go that direction? Like it wasn't necessary. Like if they went back in time to show her trauma, which was still surface level, and then to say that, they'd never know what you went through, that's still surface level, because goddamn, fuck what you went through. This is still my life that you controlling. You know what I'm saying? Like they missed like several opportunities to like just do shit. And that's why like you saw it from the beginning, man. Outside of episode 2, well, the first 2 episodes, episode 3 and on, missed opportunity. And that's why I'm like, that's why I've been like saying what I've been saying, because I've been seeing the shit since like episode 3. Like you can't have this, you can't be Marvel and have a Scarlet Witch and have like this type of momentum and still like missing shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it was ridiculous, man.
Yeah. It definitely ended on a note. I'll just call it that. It ended on a note. Some left hopeful, some left disappointed. But let's give overall reviews now. Out of the 6 Infinity Stones, and Cap, I'm gonna come to you first. Now that it is said and done, how would you rate the first season overall? How many stones would you give it, Cap?
4.
Okay.
4
Okay,
stones.
that's more than I expected you to say. 4 out of 6.
Stones. 4 out of 6. What's percentage on that? Yeah. I'm cool with like that percentage. We good. 4 stones.
Okay. Tobias Black, I'm gonna come to you next. Same question. Out of 6 stones.
Come on, Captain Kirk, man. Yeah, same thing. 4.
Same 4.
The show was going on like a 5 or a 6 for me until that finale and dropped it down to a 4.
All right. Dropped it down a couple notches. Mace. I think I know your answer, but what you got, man? 6 stones. 5
stones.
5 of them. All right, and then Jay, I left you for last so you could think on it, man. You got a score out of 6?
Shit. I give it a 2.
I knew you was coming with something low. I ain't expect a 2.
Like,
damn.
I feel like they failed their objective. Like I don't like. I feel like they like. I honestly feel like this show wasn't necessary.
So I get what you're saying. So will these shows suffer from not pushing the overall story further? You know what I'm saying? Because it feels like if I was to make this like a standalone show, you know what I mean? Like you really look at it, like Vision's start and close was the most fulfilling part of the series, right? Mm-hmm. And even though they missed the ball at some points, I feel like as a standalone, it was solid. But as this your first show that can push us deeper into our understanding of this universe as a whole, like y'all missed it completely, right? And so as a standalone, I'm kind of rating it. That's why I gave it a 4. If I was to say for continuity, well, I said this shit all wrong.
Continuity.
Of Marvel continuity. There we go. Of Marvel, that shit probably would be a 2.
And that's how I'm
'Cause
ranking
the
it.
whole point.
That's
of the
how I'm
show.
ranking
Oh,
it.
man,
I mean, no, that's how I'm ranking it. That's a good point, Captain Kirk, because it's not a standalone. It's a continuation. It's like it's part of their phase 4. It's not a standalone. And so you cannot sit here and tell me that WandaVision is standalone. Even if it only has one season, I'm not looking forward to season 2. Cause like what's gonna happen? She gonna find white Vision, and then they gonna like fall in love and shit again, and then like you know what I'm saying? Like what can we look forward to in season 2 if they have a season 2?
If they have it, it'll likely be after
Doctor Strange.
a tremendous amount of
time.
events. No, not just Doctor Strange, but I mean they'll likely that'll be phase 5, and we'll have so many films and shows by then. I'm a little bit different. If I had to give it a score, I wish there was like a half. I give it a 4.5. If
Y'all
I
too
can't,
generous, man. Y'all
you
being
know,
too generous. Just because it's Marvel.
But here's the
That's
thing.
'cause it's Marvel.
No, it's not. It's not that because I'm being honest and saying that your prediction about Pietro and the Quicksilver thing, that was right on. I can fault the show. I was disappointed by that. I won't sit there and lie and say I wasn't disappointed by how they handled that. And I was also disappointed with the lack of punishment for Wanda's crimes and what she had done
and
in that town.
and the director of Sword. Like, what the fuck he gonna do? What's gonna happen?
But here's the thing. Like the sword thing didn't bother me. The Monica thing didn't bother me because I felt like there were opportunities in here that they used to bring in elements for Phase 4. I think Sword's gonna play a much bigger part in Phase 4. I think Monica Rambeau being in Captain Marvel, I think she's going to play a bigger role in MCU, and Vision being back as the White Vision, I think he's going to have some part to play in either Phase 4.
You're ranking it based off like what could happen. That's what.
No, I'm not. Hear me out. Let me. No. Hear me out. Let me complete my thought. Those are all things. Those 3 things I just mentioned are things that go to the point of continuity, of tying it into the Marvel universe. But that's not the only thing that goes into my score. If I take all of that aside, that there were to me elements that added into continuity, and I looked at it as just a standalone and how I felt it handled the character study of Wanda and Vision, I think that they hit that mark to what Captain Kirk was saying. I think these were 2 characters that had to share a screen in the Avengers that we really didn't get to spend a lot of time with. Wanda was completely underdeveloped as a character, and most people were wondering, will she become the type of character that we've seen in the comics? So if I just look at it now outside of the larger Marvel context, and I say, how do I feel about what they did to advance her character and Visions and their relationship with each other and explaining it, I do think that they hit those marks. I'm glad that they were able to introduce chaos magic and show that Wanda is more than an experiment gone wrong. I was glad to see that they delved into their relationship and the loss of Vision after the blip. All of those elements, if I just look at it in terms of those 2, would have given it a 4 or 5 score for me. So what I'm saying is when I give it a 4.5, I give it points for both. I'm giving it points for the continuity that I felt, and I'm giving it points for the character study in those 2 characters that I felt got very little attention in the larger Avengers context.
Nobody cared, though. Nobody cared about Wanda and Vision in the Avengers. Like, nobody cared that they got such small roles, or nobody cared that they were overlooked. Nobody was pushing. Nobody was pushing for a WandaVision TV show. It just happened.
I would disagree with you.
Come on. No, if they
never announced a Wanda, a fair amount of critics.
If they never announced a Wanda and Vision show, there's nowhere in hell we would have been saying, "Yo, we need to get a show for Wanda and Vision." Are you? Come on, bro.
That's not true.
Are you serious?
I mean,
come on, Mike. Don't do that.
Yeah,
come on,
if
bro.
you look at, if you're a fan of the comics, and many people were, and I don't know if you don't remember this or what. Like when the first the first Avengers movie came out with Ultron, and they introduced Scarlet Witch for the first time. A lot of people who read the comics were disappointed at how they handled her character, making her an experiment, making her a Piotr, not mutant. A lot of people were upset about that. So when you say that like people weren't asking for this, they weren't looking for it. No, I disagree. People were absolutely wanting her to become that character and to get some justice to her story. So I disagree.
What I'm saying. You're saying that people wanted Wanda to be wrote right? That she should have been a mutant from the beginning, basically, right? So what I'm saying is, outside of core comic fans wanting all our characters written right, nobody wanted a Wanda TV show. Nobody wanted a Wanda standalone show. Like, nobody asked for this, bro. Nobody asked for this. You can't sit here and tell me you wanted a WandaVision show without them announcing it that this is what they were doing. You was not sitting here saying, yo, I want a WandaVision show. I wish they did that. Yeah, you cannot sit here and tell me with a straight face that's what you were thinking. Nobody on this blurred. Shit was selling. Get the fuck out of here. Y'all playing, bro. Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Hey, this shit got real.
Y'all playing. You playing my emotions, Smokey.
No, we not. We not.
Marvel just take chances, man. Like, you know,
that's
like
and then then say that.
Right,
Say
look,
that.
Nobody
say that we was checking for this shit.
Nobody was asking
Go
for
ahead.
Guardians. Nobody knew what Guardians was.
Thank you.
Chance with it.
Or
That's
Ant-Man.
cool.
One of they
That's
best movies,
cool.
you know what I'm
Don't
saying?
say like y'all was sitting here wanting this shit to happen.
I did.
Get the fuck
I
out.
did.
WandaVision was a good show, bro. It
Yeah.
was
Dope.
just-
I like it, man.
The
I
payoff
enjoyed
was
it.
just bad, man. That's all.
I enjoyed it.
Like Game of Thrones.
Cap, I think you try to say so. I can't hear you though. Go ahead.
Nah, it's cool, man. Anytime like Jason Prayer, he starts sounding like he from New York. That's when you know like this shit got to get. He's like, come on, man.
Don't tell
Come
me.
come on, B. Ain't nobody asked for this shit. You ain't asked for this shit. I'm hollering over here. All right, y'all go ahead.
Look, man, like I've said, I did not have a problem with it. I thought it was a great move for them to try to explore those characters in more detail. And I thought overall the show hit the points that I needed it to, but I was disappointed. I will give it the criticism that it so deserves for the way it wrapped up. But all right, let's move into other shows. We got other stuff to talk about. One show that we've been tracking, talking about, Snowfall, had an amazing third episode that we just off of. And there's a lot to unpack. So let's start with arguably the most shocking event that revolved around Leon. This episode, he hires a PI to find Scully and stakes out in front of his last known location. A car with Scully's crew pulls up, notices Leon, starts firing. Leon shooting back, not knowing that there was a mother and a child in the car with him. That woman just so happened to be Man-Boy's sister and also Scully's baby mama. The little girl was Scully's daughter and now Man-Boy's now deceased niece. Leon just became Scully and Man-Boy's #1 target in the show. My question for the Blerds, do you think Leon could ever forgive himself for what he did? And do you think Franklin's going to protect Leon now and betray his partners or let him go ahead and have a revenge? Jay, I'll go to you first on that.
Now, I don't know. I don't think Leon will forgive himself for that. But I don't know if Franklin is going to save Leon. I don't even think Man-Boy is really going to necessarily care about that.
Really?
I mean, because I know, but listen to what I'm saying. He was already trying to kill his niece's father. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think he may feel a certain way, but I don't know if he's going to just stop trying to kill his niece. Like, they're not going to come. I don't think they're going to come together to try to kill Leon. I think Scully going to try to kill Leon, but I don't think Man-Boy is going to like join in on with Scully to kill him. Like, I don't think it's going to be like that.
Okay, well, let's see. Tobias Black, I mean, I hear what you're saying in terms of, you know, they might not partner up, but I do feel like Man-Boy is going to want some retribution for that shit.
But like, you already trying to make your niece fatherless. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, Tobias, let me ask you, man. Do you feel like Leon's gonna forgive himself, and do you feel like Franklin will either try to protect him or feed him to the wolves? Basically, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think Leon's ever gonna get over that. I don't think he's gonna forgive himself for that. That's deep right there. Franklin, I think I think they're gonna team up. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to. They both in the mix. You know what I'm saying? And truth be told, they boys. Push come to shove, man, that's your boy, man. That's your ace. You know what I'm saying? So if if y'all both got a common enemy now, you know what I'm saying, you're going to help your boy out. So I think it just showed that, you know, Leon couldn't hold the show by himself, you know what I'm saying, because they threw him right in the mix, you know what I'm saying, like real quick. Like, nah, you a part of Franklin's problem now, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, nah, I think Franklin going to help his boy out.
Well, see, and I'm going to come to you next, Mace, on this. Like, the thing is, Franklin has pretty much always been like, whatever's good for business, that's what I'm going. Like, whatever's bad for business, I won't have anything to do with. If Manboy comes to him, and he don't have Scully as an option no more. If Manboy comes to Franklin like, yo, he killed my niece. Like, I'm looking for Leon. We need to, you know, there needs to be some justice for what happened to her. I don't know if Franklin gonna be as easy to be like, yo, but that's my boy. Mace, what do you think? Do you think that Franklin will give him that, or do you think that he's gonna, you know, basically let them get their revenge?
Man, first of all, that scene, I'm still messed up from that.
Yeah.
That shootout, man. I was ducking behind my pillow. I'm like, damn, this real. But I don't think Franklin's is gonna feed him to the wolves. Again, like Tobias Black said, they're boys. Leon has always been loyal. You know, they had a little falling out, but he's always been loyal. And also, Franklin is going to need Leon, because think about it. Didn't Franklin's bodyguard, didn't he, like, quit on the job? He walked away.
Did. Ooh, that was a alert.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a powerful scene.
So I made this comment in the last episode, or maybe the episode before the last, that they need each other. Y'all clown me for that. Y'all like, this some street shit. They don't no. But they actually do. They actually do need each other when you think about it. Franklin is like the brains. He's always like, you know, 5 steps ahead. He's calculated. Leon is just the force, you know. So they need each other. He's not going to throw him to the wolves, so he's going to protect them.
Yeah, I just feel like, I mean, he gonna need a distro or somebody to help him, you know, move drugs in Little Rock now that he expanding too. So it's like, you know, Manboy was the person he chose to kind of do that. So Cap, I'm coming to you next. Do you think Franklin's going to do what's right by his boy, or do you think he'd end up doing what's right for his business in terms of Leon?
I mean, we gotta look at the paint on the wall for Franklin. I ain't about to believe nothing until he showed me something different. All his stuff has been in benefit of making more money, to me. Like, that's why he in the predicament that he in with Leon now. You know what I mean? Like, he's as loyal to Leon as Leon is beneficial to him. And it's been that way, like, for the seasons. So for me, I don't have no faith in their relationship. I know for storytelling wise, they probably gonna go that angle, like they gonna realize how they need each other, but is it a sincerity with that? You know what I mean? So even if that happened, it's still not sincere to me. And one point, so Leon actually has been handling stuff smart and isolated from Franklin, right? Even the way he handled how he was gonna get at Scully was smart. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, y'all already know how this game go. 1 second can change the whole pattern of how shit went. And that's why they had that little Mexican corn dude going by. And if that car never stopped, they was on him. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's kind of
true.
like people saying, like, Leon, you know, he can't do this without. He held down a whole community in his trade, drug trade or whatever, by himself off his stuff without Franklin. And last point, the downfall of them is gonna always be like pride, right? They got to become desperate, and that's why they can't connect. So yeah.
Damn, that's a good point. So let's switch gears for a second and talk about how Leon ended up in this situation in the first damn place. Wanda. All right, now the episode before we saw her pull a tooth up out of her mouth and for a moment ask herself, what am I doing? And a lot of folks, including myself, I thought maybe this is a sign that she finally hit rock bottom. But no, the next episode, Wanda started trying to sell Leon her tooth and continue funding her habit. Shortly after she warned Leon. Right. Shortly after she tried to warn Leon of this drive-by and got herself shot in the crossfire. And now Leon's paying to keep her clean in the hospital. So my question is, do you think that being shot will be Wanda's rock bottom, or is she gonna leave there and basically go back to the crack? And is it too early to finally say that Wanda's played the most accurate crackhead in the history of television? Mace, I see you shaking your head, so I'm gonna go to you first on that question.
I hope she get it together.
Like,
Yo,
I need her to get it together.
I need her to get it together, man. I hope she does, man. That's some good acting, man. That's really good acting. That's some good acting, man. But yeah, I hope she gets it together. You can see Leon, he still cares about her, even though he's like, giving her money to, for a habit or whatever. But he still cares about her. He still loves her. I hope she kicked the habit, but we'll see.
We're going to find out soon. Tobias Black, what you think? You think this rock bottom, or she going back to the pipe?
Man, once a crackhead, always a crackhead, B.
Nah, come on, now.
Damn, bro. That's harsh, bro. That's harsh,
She
man.
caught that bullet. She probably ain't feel that bullet. You know what I'm saying? She
Your ass is sensitive, bro.
She just get some proper rest.
Right.
Proper rest. Then she'll be back on the streets.
So you like, nah, this ain't nowhere close. Cap, you shaking your head. You agree with that, or you think that there might be some hope for Wanda after all?
Hey, man, I always got hope for somebody struggling with drugs, man.
Yeah.
Even if it's a TV character. Yep. This is her. I would say this would be her rock bottom, though. But it's gonna force her, you know what I mean, to get clean, and she could remember what that feel like. Sometimes it take that to kind of see, where you want to go next. But the thing that broke Leon, at first I thought it'd be her dying. And seeing like how what he introduced to the community affected somebody he cared about, but then he shot that girl. So I don't know if she's like the pivotal turn for him. It was that, like, that's like his moment. So I don't think Wanda gonna die. I think she might redeem herself. I hope.
I do too, man. Tobias Black on the Judge Mathis tip. I know a crackhead when I see a crackhead, but we've also seen a lot of folks get help, and that's true. Cap, there is a chance here that she can get the help she needs, and Leon is definitely funding her to stay there, so it's her best opportunity. Jay, do you feel like this is going to be the turning point for her character, or do you think that she might still need more time to kick the habit? What do you think?
Well, her body is going through detox right now, so I don't know if I don't know if they're using morphine to help her detox. I know they use that for heroin, but if she's going through detox, then she probably won't have the urge right away to use it. So hopefully, I'm talking to like she a real person and shit. But yeah, I mean, hopefully she kicked the habit, because they hinted at her kind of wanting to do it anyway. So maybe this is that that push for her to do it. So we'll see. As far as her being like the greatest crackhead ever played, nah, man, she not that yet.
Really?
I mean, you got
who in your opinion has done better than
Samuel
her?
I would say
from
I would say looks. I would say looks like her effects. She looked like a nasty, what I'm saying, like a toe up crackhead, you know what I'm saying? But as far as like the acting, I wouldn't give it to her, nah.
Man.
So Jay, you said Sam Jackson. So you think that his portrayal in, what was that, Jungle
Yeah.
Fever, right?
I'm a junkie.
So y'all think that he did, and that was a great depiction too.
Wait. The greatest crackhead
Pookie?
is Tyrone Biggums.
Oh, Tyrone.
Y'all
Tyrone Big.
Y'all tripping, man.
We gotta get
It's a couple
Davis flowers.
crackheads, man. I don't know. I don't know. It's too soon to say like she the greatest.
Well,
But she up there though. She up there for sure.
The reason why I think she is, man, is because we actually watched her spiral. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was levels to it.
Yeah.
We watched her, how she was when her and Leon was dating. And when she got hooked on it, and then she just spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
And now this is what we got.
Yeah, I
That's
see.
what we have.
We were.
Y'all
Go
ain't
ahead, Cap.
y'all ain't never watched that show. What was it called? The Block. It was set in Baltimore.
Before the Wire.
Dealt with the
Corner.
Yeah,
You're talking
Before
about
the Wire. It was The Corner. It was a true story. Like, those had the best damn acting. People struggling with addiction, from middle class to local. Like, it just showed the struggle of addiction. But my top crackhead of all time is gonna be Jenny from Forrest Gump.
Back to Jenny.
Hey, he hate her.
Yeah, right. She's the
Man,
villain.
Jenny
fucking
is a villain.
Who hurt you, bro?
She appropriated the culture. She was the Black Panther Party. She left Forrest with a baby, lied to him, and played on his stuff, man. And made this motherfucker run across the country. Y'all ain't about to. She broke him, man. She picked on somebody, man. Mentally,
Mentally ill.
That's funny. You know, I ain't even think about Jenny. I ain't even think about her. I would have gone Bubbles from The Wire. He was probably the only other crackhead I was thinking about in comparison was Bubbles. But
I mean, Bubbles, he played a good crackhead or whatever, or a drug fiend. But Bubbles, you know, Bubbles, he had a soft spot, you know.
Yeah.
Like I would let Bubbles wash my car or some shit, you know.
Right.
right.
Speaking of Forrest Gump, you know remember when they were like praying in a field saying, "Dear God, please turn us to a bird, fly." So every time my wife like starts praying, I'd be like, "Dear God, please turn me to a bird so I can fly far." She get mad as
I bet she do. Shit. Asshole.
Right. She gonna kick my ass for saying this
funny.
shit.
Don't listen to this episode, man. We want to talk about
Right, all the time.
all right. So lastly, man, this week, Franklin's mother, Sissy, also had a very powerful scene when she tried to convince Franklin to keep his promise in terms of using the real estate venture to get out of drugs and get a legitimate career. This is after we see Franklin trying to convince everybody but Unc that their next move should be to expand drugs into Little Rock. So my question for you brothers is, we all know the real life story of how this is going to end for Franklin, but at this point, do you think Franklin's looking for an exit out the business, or do you think he's starting to see himself becoming a drug kingpin? And I'll go to you first, Cap, on that one.
Yeah, I think the episode kind of hinted towards him looking like the quickest route out after his conversation with his mom. Remember, he was like, "What would it take?" He was talking to my CIA dude, like, "What would it take?" So with more help. And so his expansion seemed like it was like a means to an end. But for me, like, I know how we could kind of glorify, Franklin and stuff like that. I just don't see him as like this great. I see him as a great hustler. I don't see him as like a great dude though. Like, so I think
he doing some
shit, bro. Yeah, he did some fuck. And look, remember the line where he said, dude, show him what it was doing to the people. He's like, man, how do you sleep at night? That motherfucker like a baby. And at first I thought he was fronting, like, man, he was just putting on the show and shit. But like, looking back, bro, like, he kind of meant that shit because he ain't skipped the beat, bro. He ain't skipped the beat. But that's it for me. I think Franklin, the episode showed that he was trying, but I think the dollar, if he not seeing it from the real estate, the dollar always gonna take precedence on the decisions he made.
Yeah, that's real. Mace, I see you shaking your head. You agreeing that you think he's looking at it as an exit out the business, or do you think that he's trying to, at this point, just maintain power and control?
I think he likes the idea. Like, it sounds good for him to say, like, yeah, I'm gonna find a way out, but he likes that power, the money. I don't think that he's gonna get away. He's not gonna get out of it. He's not gonna get out of it. Like Captain said, like, we pretty much watched him. He went from this good guy to who he is now. And he's like a villain now. We seen what he did with the old couple that owned the what was that, record shop?
Ooh, that was hard to
bookstore?
watch. The bookshop.
That was fucked up.
That was hard to watch.
Bogus.
He looked them in the eye and just took their shot from him. So no.
Yep. Yeah, it's like, at what point is enough? Because like you said, when we see his progression in the first season, it was like, I'm just trying to make some quick money to go to college. Clearly that ain't on his mind no more. Like, at this point, it's like, will enough ever be enough? Tobias Black, I'm going to come to you next. I mean, do you feel like that his end goal is still the same, that he's really actively looking for an exit out the business, or do you think that he's fooling himself? Do you think that at the end of the day he's just gonna be the drug kingpin and always look for that next way to make a buck?
Hey, man, it's always like that song Jay-Z, Allure. See, the allure of breaking the law was always too much for me to ever ignore. You know what I'm saying? So I think he like it, man. He want that. You know what I'm saying? He ain't trying to get out that. He got too much of a taste of it. You know what I'm saying? He gonna keep it going.
It's real. It's
He
real.
ain't backing
One
out
of
of
my
that,
favorite
man.
Jay-Z
I
songs.
think he gonna get out.
Yeah.
Nah.
You think so, Jay? You think the show? will
No.
end on that
I'm
note?
saying I think he wants to quit because the conversation he had with Reed was, how long are we gonna be doing this? How long is the war is taking? And he's saying like
Because
So I think because he said like, if I double the money, then do that make us quit sooner? And so I think he wants to. I don't think he wants to do this shit forever. You know what I'm saying? So
I think he want to quit from him and start his own stuff.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Right, my man's talking about
Do you
expanding.
think?
yeah.
A Little Rock,
Yeah, that's what I
Arkansas.
was gonna say.
But that's to like
Yeah.
get more
Do
money.
you
That's to
think-
make more money.
But Jay, do you think that he would have had that same conversation with Reed had his mom not jumped in and called him on his bullshit? Like, in other words, do you think that conversation with Reed was influenced by her? Like, would Franklin on his own have been looking for an exit out of the business, or do you think he just did that out of the conversation that his mom had given him?
Probably a little bit of both, because when he found out who Reed was and they had a conversation at the end of season 3, it still was an exit, because the first thing he said to him sitting down was like, "Yo, we said we was gonna, shit, we said we was gonna stop. So what's taking so long?" You know what I'm saying? So maybe his mother like gave him that extra push to be like, "All right, let me see what's really going on. How long we really gonna be doing this?" So
Yeah.
Any predictions? I know we still got a full season left, but we've seen a lot in these last 3 or 4 episodes. Y'all got any predictions on where the story might be going? I got.
Go ahead. I think the reporter gonna either end up like getting scared, or because this is supposed to be the story of Rick Ross, right? And Rick Ross has said himself that he doesn't watch the show because of what John Singleton did to him. John Singleton not here to defend himself, so I don't even want to like go into that. But if I don't know if you are familiar with the book Dark Alliance, so it was that book and those reports that blew the lid off of what the CIA was doing. So I don't know if the reporter is going to like write a book or try to get some things published, but she's probably going to blow shit up. You know what I'm saying? And then that's going to force like some real heavy heat to come down. I don't even know what season 5. I think they probably should end it with this season, because I can't imagine what season 5 will probably be about. You know what I'm saying? Like they got to be careful with not becoming repetitive and redundant, doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So if they end this season,
So I, to your point, Jay, like Ross, like the real Ross, like he pretty much like still functioning, right? Like after all of this, I think the thing that we haven't seen yet, and they trying to touch base on it right now, is the expansion to like other cities, right? Yeah, because like by the time he was done, he had like 10,000 people under his employment. You know, as a drug runner, $600 million made over the course of his his journey with it. So like Franklin ain't hit that part yet. So if you want to come like full circle with it, one more season to talk about like the expansion into the country as a whole, right? And how does that one young man who turns into, a grown ass man do that? And what does that look like? How does that, because clearly if they follow that route, he ain't listening to his mama. That shit sounded cute. Yeah. But I'm I'm following that dollar. You know what I mean?
For sure. And then they also have to be careful how they, because right now I think the show is great because it's really showing the effects of the drugs, the gang violence, right? And so they if they go into him like expanding, they gotta like follow that same, good community. Black people were middle class and doing what they were doing, and then these drugs came in, then these gangs came in. You know what I'm saying? So like, as long as not like, just thrown in the mix, like, oh yeah, we got Little Rock, but they don't really go into Little Rock. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, we got Chicago, but they don't really go into Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got to be careful. I want them to be careful with. Like, I just don't want the show to be bad. You know what I'm saying? And it's really great. It's really great right now. It's better than a lot of shows right now, anyway. But like, yeah, listen.
So just last point, just the progression though, bro. Like,
yeah, it's been great.
The progression been great. Like, they can't leave that part out.
For sure.
But you're right. Don't overstay your welcome.
Yeah,
for sure. Don't overstay your welcome. Because it's better than Breaking Bad now, according to some people.
It is for sure. Absolutely.
Hey, dude, you gonna start some
man.
shit.
We don't got time
So
for that
Cap,
right now.
Oh my God.
Cap about to open a bag. I asked this very simple question this week that got me in a lot of trouble. I just asked if it's too. I just asked if it's too early to say that Snowfall is a better show than Breaking Bad, and I have been criticized all week. Cap has said, the show, we can't judge it until it's over. A close, it always tells whether the show can be held in that type of reverence. So we should give it a chance to close, to compare it. But already, I'm calling it. If they stick this landing, I'm calling it. Snowfall has potential to be, hear me, better than Breaking Bad, based on what we've seen already.
Why y'all get Breaking Bad as the top, the number one? Like,
so,
because it is.
It's not though.
I'm not saying it's number one.
Like,
but it's easier to be great over, what is it?
4 seasons instead of 5?
No, let's talk about number of episodes. Let's just talk about that. All right. So Snowfall, what they had, about 35, something like that. Breaking Bad did 6, 7 seasons.
They did 5
seasons.
They did 5
All
seasons.
right, but they end up doing about 70 episodes.
I don't think so.
No, it wasn't that.
No one that
Look,
many episodes. First season was like
50?
5, 6 episodes. Second season was like 10 or 12.
You don't know because you ain't watch it, Jeff. So I'm gonna pause. All right. So look, all I'm saying is, like, we can't. Y'all always forget. Y'all doing the WandaVision shit right now. Like, we talking all this great stuff, and then one bad thing happened, and look how y'all tune changed. And so all I'm saying is, with this show, it's the same thing. It is a great show right now. I would rank it like my top 3, easy work. But all it takes is 3 episodes for y'all to say, this some bullshit. Let's let them finish, bro. Let's let them finish. That's all I'm saying.
And I just Googled it. Breaking Bad, across its 5 seasons, had 62 episodes, which is far more than
20 more.
Even,
And 40,
no, actually
and
30.
40 and 48 of them joints was
Hold on.
Mace, what you gotta say?
Jay Supreme, you don't want to introduce me into it. Bro, this is the greatest show ever, bro.
You gotta watch it.
I didn't say
You
it was
must
the
watch
greatest
this
ever.
right now,
I didn't say it
bro.
was the greatest ever. Don't do that.
Yes, you did.
But I did introduce you to the show because it was a good show.
So look, okay, it is too early.
I'm not
It
saying
was.
Breaking Bad is not a great show.
Okay,
but like,
okay.
It's not like, it gotta be Snowfall. Yo, is it better than Breaking Bad? Like, Breaking Bad is the fucking what's that shit called? The limited test? Like
Litmus
what?
test, yeah.
Like, nah, man.
Okay, it's not. It's too early. Like Captain Kurt said, it is too early to be saying.
Some shit you just
Breaking
know.
Bad top 3 show.
Breaking Bad is top 3.
All right. Look. We got other topics, and I knew that I was
you
opening
did,
the
bro.
can
You
of
did.
worms.
We'll
with
talk
this shit.
about this later.
Let's give it time.
All right,
Let's give it time. All right. And let's talk about another TV show real quick that we've been following, talking about. Superman and Lois has been a pleasant surprise. I was not checking for this show. I don't think most were. And it's slowly becoming one of my favorite superhero shows on television. So, the majority of this week's episode revolved around the super twins, Jonathan and Jordan, with the latter deciding that instead of getting bullied by the football team, he joined the team instead. And, lay they asses out with his quote unquote somewhat super strength. Clark struggles with the decision to let him play, but ultimately allows it under the condition that he becomes an assistant coach to make sure he keeps his powers in check. So my question, I'm going to pose this to the parents first. And Cap, I think I'll start with you first. Are you good with Superman letting his superpowered son play on the team, or do you think it's enabling his son to use his powers as an advantage?
I think with his mental state, his son, and putting him in that position, I think it's irresponsible as a parent. I think you teaching him to use his powers to his benefit, which completely contradicts the story of Superman. So it kind of threw me out, but I ain't judging it because I'm like, oh, this might make some good TV because he might paralyze him, and
right.
And we be talking about that in a couple of Blerds episodes. So no, as a parent, my son got a responsibility with his powers, and I got a responsibility as his dad to make sure I guide him with that. And I think he buckled because he not a present dad, and his son was happy. Right, my son was happy, so I want him to embrace this, and but he did do something responsible because he decided to be an assistant coach. But will somebody call you off to go save a bridge like you did in a great perfect moment in that episode? You had to go,
right? And
then your son just break a motherfucker off. You ain't gonna be laughing then, ain't gonna be cute then. But anyway,
right,
that's me as
Pops. I feel you, and I felt good. His brother, tried to come to his, defense, because at first I was like, he just doing this out of revenge, for them picking on him and for his girl. But then when his brother started talking to him, to Superman about, what it was doing for him, how he saw, his confidence growing and stuff like that, it was like, yeah, I guess I could kind of see that. Tobias, like, I saw you shaking your head just then. I mean, do you feel like it was irresponsible too for him to put his son in that position, or are you like, look, let's see where this goes. He ain't to Superman's strength yet. Let's let him play the game, get some confidence, get some camaraderie. Where'd you fall on that spectrum?
Yeah, you basically said my answer right there. But let me just first say that y'all was right about this show. This show is pretty damn good. Me and my wife own it. You know what I'm saying? We like, let's go ahead and watch the Superman and Lois. But to answer your question, yeah, you basically said what I was gonna say. Like, I would let him play. That kid he's isolated. He feel like he has no friends or anything like that. This will, give him that that camaraderie, and give him that confidence. Even though he, his powers are building, he ain't Superman. You know what I'm saying? His powers is building, and as he gets stronger, you know what I'm saying, football is a rough sport. People break bones every day, in football. You know what I'm saying? People get concussions all the time. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the nature of the game. You know what I'm saying? So so I think Superman he did the right thing by being an assistant coach, to be there. But I also think he did the right thing to let him play. You know what I'm saying? And
he said people break bones every day, B.
Hey, they do, man.
Bro.
People break bones every day. Hey, man.
Hey, but this motherfucker shot lasers out of his eyes. Like, y'all talking like he just got a little steroid juice in him.
Bro,
he don't control.
This is a team sport. They was jumping him. That's different, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, he likes this. He likes this. You know what I'm saying? So he will probably put more effort into controlling his powers if it comes to that. If you get jumped, if you got a gun in your waist and you get jumped by 6-7 people, you just gonna sit there and take a beating, or you gonna shoot that gun?
And that was kind of Jonathan's, his brother, his point when he was talking to his father, like, in a way, this is kind of helping him to control his powers. And he kind of put it in context, like, bro was weak before this, like, and this is, if nothing else, the little bit of power he's got right now is just making him about as strong as the people on that field. But Jay, I'm gonna come to you on this one as a father. Do you feel like Superman made the right choice here, or would you have kept him from playing?
I'm gonna say this. I feel Captain Kirk on that, but however, I'm actually surprised he went with this, because being in education, I come across a lot of troubled kids, who may need like something to help them regulate in class, and sometimes we put them on a sports team. Like this son is socially awkward. He's been an outcast pretty much his entire life, academic life rather, right? And so his brother, said like this may be helping him socially. You know what I'm saying? And so I think him actually, like, team sports do a lot for kids, for people. It helps them a lot. And so so it's like, I don't blame him. I don't blame Superman for wanting his son to be accepted, into society, because basically, his son hasn't been accepted, and it's cool. I think it'll be nice for him to like find his way, in a sense. And it ain't even about necessarily like society. It's more so his son is like developing his own identity, and so I think that's important. So if I was Superman, I would tell him like, yo, you can be on sports, but you can't use your damn powers. It ain't no I can only use this shit a little bit. Like I think that's irresponsible, because the motherfucker he wasn't even flinching, and the motherfucker was running to a brick wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, why didn't nobody say something then? Like, yo, why these motherfuckers flying 20 yards back? You know what I'm saying? Like, shit was fucking crazy. I think that, but to Sale's point, that part, letting him use his powers, is irresponsible versus him actually being on the team.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that. I feel like some powers, you can keep in check. Like laser eyes, you don't have to, be around eye-beaming folks. But when it comes to strength and invulnerability, it's like, I don't know how much restraint he's going to be able to have. And so, Mace, to round us out, I mean, when you saw the episode, were you surprised by his decision to let him play, or do you feel like it was a good call?
I was surprised that he let him play. If I was the parent, would I let my son play? He has superpowers? Man, hell yeah.
Bruh, thank you. Man. Y'all know damn well.
I got scouts looking at my kid. Let's go straight to the NFL.
Let's
get this.
What?
Right. Come on,
hey,
man.
Hey, why stop at NFL? Let's play all sports.
Let's play everything.
Damn. Wow.
Hey,
we gonna get this contract.
Okay, we should.
Y'all that's irresponsible, bro.
LeVar Ball ain't got nothing.
Man, get y'all Huxtable family, Bill Cosby father.
Y'all got a golden ticket right there. What you talking about?
Golden ticket.
What about
rich?
What about morals? What about morals?
Right.
Oh my God.
What about morals?
Man, you got
bro.
Hey, Mace like,
you
my
got you got a kid with superpowers, man.
What about the other kids though, bro?
Yeah, you can hurt somebody,
and that's
bro.
my concern.
That's selfish
right?
as hell.
Like,
That's so
Okay, son, tone it down a little bit.
Get the fuck out.
Tone it down a little bit. Just a little bit.
Y'all sound like Mr. Incredible when Dash was running the damn sprint at the end of the fucking movie.
Oh my God.
Pull it back.
I didn't give
Make
it.
it close.
I didn't give an opinion one way or the other. I think it's a difficult choice. I mean, when I saw the episode, I was surprised he let him play. But I also like you were saying, Jay. I think there's something to be learned from playing team sports that I think he wants his son to learn and to experience. So I understand how difficult of a decision that might have been for him to make sure that his son grows up with those values and those learnings from playing team sports without it hurting other people. But
it's cheating.
It ain't his
is.
fault though.
It's
It ain't his
advantage.
fault though.
Hey,
He a kid, man.
That's between
He a
him and
kid.
God. He didn't have no
bro.
powers.
Y'all,
All right, so
y'all
look.
wildin' right now, yo.
Wait,
y'all
what you
wildin'.
Hey, so
Yo.
you have you ever seen Brightburn?
Yeah, I seen that.
You
Yeah,
saw that,
yeah.
right? You see how whimsical kids can be emotionally. Like, you thinking about puberty too? What happening when you start liking somebody? Testosterone, all that stuff. And this motherfucker got mild super strength with laser beams able to come out of his
He don't even know how much power he has,
That's
bro.
different though, dude. The alien thing that got the Brightburn kid was evil already.
No,
Whatever
bro.
that was. It was the thing was evil, bro. It was like
was talking
it
to
was
him
talking
and all
to him
that.
with all the
Yeah.
evil language and stuff, man.
Puberty
This-
evil too, my dude. Puberty fucked us up, man. You don't remember? being in the
Bruh,
classroom.
So
Bro.
listen.
Just
So
sit
look,
there.
look. You got your kid. You got your son, your daughter. You know what I'm saying? That wants to play a team sport, and you gonna hold him back because you inherited powers to him.
You
He
going
just
to
learned his
allow me?
powers a week ago. He just
Morally,
learned his powers a week ago. This ain't
okay,
Batman and
but
Robin.
you
He
can
ain't been
still
training him.
He
He ain't
can
got
still
training.
teach him. He can still teach him.
Bro,
He can
all right. So you telling me you gonna put this kid out that has no training? Now, if they had a training montage or some shit where he getting trained like Creed or some shit like that, cool. But he ain't had no training montage, bro. This motherfucker like, Dad, I want to play. I have powers. And you motherfuckers okay with that?
They
Yes.
crazy,
I'm
bro.
perfectly fine
Cap,
with it.
Cap,
Well-
I'm with you, man. These motherfuckers are irresponsible.
Hey.
Y'all some
Hold on, how
goddamn
you with him?
cheaters.
Jay,
Y'all some
wait.
cheaters.
How you with him? Didn't you say that you would have
Without
let him
his
play?
powers.
Understand the power.
Without his fucking powers,
But-
bro.
So how?
But he can't play
Right,
without his
how he
powers. How can he
can?
turn
He
off
can
super
ride the
strength?
bench for God
How can he
like
turn
that.
off super
Yo,
strength?
listen.
You contradict yourself, bro.
No, I'm not,
How
bro.
you
no.
You can't
How you
turn
go-
off
how you
super
gonna
strength.
turn off
Jeff.
his
Yes,
powers
you
and
can, Superman.
he-
He can control how. First of all, he can control how much. He can control his strength.
Facts.
He can control that. So you're gonna tell me that it's okay to let your son use a little bit of his power? That's cheating for one. It's unethical, bro. Where's the morals at? Y'all
my
wildin'. Y'all funny as hell. I hope y'all.
Okay.
Let's move
I
on,
hope,
man.
I
Let's
hope,
move on.
I hope I get a
Well, let's-
superpower kid.
let's-
I'm going straight to the top.
Yo,
Sorry, y'all.
We about to get this money.
Sorry,
Hey,
we about to
care
get
about
paid.
all
Mason,
that.
Mason about look. Mason Tobias like we
we
gonna get
getting
this
paid.
paper.
Y'all-
Look,
Y'all can have y'all morals and ethics. I'm about to
I
be
see.
rich.
I see why y'all ain't coaching none. Shit.
he gonna get that Powerball ticket.
Don't come to me
let's-
talking about y'all
let's
starting a
move on. Let's
football
move
team
on.
or little league team.
Let's-
I'm not sending my kids there.
Let's move on. So we in addition to the teenagers and what they were going through this week, we also got a chance to see Lois more in this episode as she starts to unravel more about Morgan Edge and his true intentions in Smallville. Eventually, a woman finds her and with the evidence of her son was hired by Morgan Edge and disappeared shortly after. Before she can learn more, some mysterious guy shows up about to kill Lois until she calls for Superman, who you think is just going to destroy this guy. But surprise, he has powers too and commences to whooping Superman's ass. Like he was kicking his ass for a minute until Superman, froze him and uppercutted that fool like they was on Mortal Kombat and it was a fatality. So, later some woman named Lars shows up, lasers the guy to death. And so it's a lot going on. My question is, were you all excited to see villains show up who can square up with Superman? Do you think that the variety is cool of villains, or do you think that they might start be doing, too much and it might be too distracting by having multiple villains like this? Tobias, I saw you shake your head first. I'm considering you cool with it. What do you think about that?
I'm actually pleased with how they doing the fight sequences, man. This is dope. You know what I'm saying? Like finally somebody that could whoop on Superman and somebody that Superman can let off. He could go off on.
Pause.
And they right. They throw in the little, hero things of him catching the bridges, which is cool. That should be be real stuff, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
the main focus should be villains that could whoop Superman and Superman could just, let loose on his strength. And this is what I've been wanting. And they do it, the little sequences is dope, man. I'm like, oh, they
are.
They kind of going
Whoever
in.
they got doing them, I hope that they keep them. And because usually you see Superman fight in these grandiose battles where they flying all over the place and crashing into stuff. The whole fight sequence with him and dude took place in a motel, like in two rooms, and it was still exciting to watch. So Cap, my question, same to you in terms of like how you saw this. Do you feel like, this was a good matchup? Do you want to see more of this, or do you feel like it's starting to get too distracting with, Lex and Morgan Edge and these other villains? How do you feel about it so far?
Nah, man, I think that's the best thing about TV shows. You could flesh out different storylines across different episodes. So I think the more they introduce, what do you call, like the rogues gallery for him, and people that match up with him well, that's what everybody complain about with Superman. How do you challenge this motherfucker? You know what I mean? Like, how do you push him? And they, from the very beginning, like the first ep, you saw him get banged. So it's kind of like, okay, like I could rock with this because he got some form of adversity on top of his kids. They not a villain, but like raising kids while you trying to be the best hero in the world. Like all that stuff play into why the show is different from others, you know?
Yeah. I just feel like, and Jay, I'm coming to you next with this because, like, I feel like there's a balance too, though, because some shows, especially CW shows, sometimes falls into the trope of like villain of the week, where every week is just a different villain that the hero has to overcome. In this one, we've seen now a few villains. So, Jay, are you cool with the way that they're doing this, or do you feel like it's going to be distracting, or do you feel like like so far, everything that they've done has been right on target? How you feel? Well,
first off, I'm not gonna let you take that shot at CW because they have main villains throughout entire seasons. It may be like some other small villains, but they all play a role into the bigger scheme of things. So I'm not gonna let you get away with that. However,
okay, all right.
However, I will say this though: this Superman has had 2 Goku moments so far. The first moment was when he was dying, falling down with the kryptonite in his hand. The second one was when he got knocked out and heard Lois. You know what I'm saying? And he woke up and got the business. But I'm cool with the villains. It makes me wonder, like, who are these villains? Are they Kryptonians? You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So I'm cool with them having multiple villains and fleshing out the story for sure. The kids are the fucking what's the emotional kid name? I forget.
Was it Jonathan or Jason?
Jordan. That motherfucker is emo. He irritating, man. I'm like, just take him, man. Whoop his ass, goddamn, or something. Shit.
But here's the thing. I was thinking about that too, because I've heard some people be like, damn, he's just so annoying. Teenagers, though, I think are largely annoying. Like, and I don't know if you've been to a mall recently, but as I get older, being in an environment with too many teens,
emotional, like, Dad,
they all like that.
No, Dad. Like, what, man? Your punk ass up, man.
Like, your dad is Superman. Your
I heard him say I
Superman.
suck.
Yeah, like, you've been spying on us this whole time. Like, shut the fuck up, man. Yes, I've been spying on your ass. I can hear every goddamn thing.
Hey, he like that. He like old boy, like, on Step Brother. He's like, I just want to punch your face. Like, he got that face you just want to punch, man.
Yeah. Mace, I know we had to kind of convince you to try to give this show, or we had to convince you to give the show a try, and you're a few episodes in so far. How you feeling about it, man? Like, was this a pleasant surprise for you? Do you like the direction it's going, the villains?
Man,
what you feel about it?
Oh man, like y'all was saying, the fight scenes, the sequences, man.
Mm-hmm.
It does not look like this is a TV show. This is like a movie. Like the budget, the CGI budget is just crazy, man. I'm satisfied with it. I hope they introduce a small villain every episode from here on out. It's good to see Superman being challenged, and this last fight he had to freeze dude. Like, he couldn't just beat him up, So it's good, man. It's good to see him challenged, and him just not overpowering the people he fighting. He really taking a beating too,
Something other than kryptonite, man. Something other than kryptonite.
But I also don't want them to ignore storylines too, like the Lex. We still don't know. We still don't know exactly who he is.
Yeah.
Right. And then they, at the last 2 episodes ago, they showed Superman killing motherfuckers. Like, that shit was like glossed over. Right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I must say too.
I think.
My bad.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I must say too. Like, this Lex character, I like this dude, man. I like him.
Man,
he's
me
calculated.
Me too.
And he's a brother too. What? Yo.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So.
Blerds, rejoice. We got a black Lex.
We don't know if he's Lex though. We don't know if he's Lex.
He's Lex.
No, he's Captain Lex. He's but he is Lex of a different. They did the Crisis on Multiple Earths, so he's not from Earth Prime. He'll be likely from another Earth where Superman went crazy. We got a glimpse of the black Superman suit in episode 2, which was great. Fan service.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see them unravel it more, but just so that you all know, listening, it was announced this week that they're going to take a hiatus. Because of COVID, the production schedule got kind of messed up with Superman and Lois, so there will be, I'm not sure if it's after this episode or the episode after next, they're going to actually take a pause on Superman and Lois, slot Supergirl in for a few episodes until they're able to catch up. So we're excited. The season is great. Just temper your expectations in terms of schedule because they had a COVID scare and they needed to shut down production for a little while, which I'm trying to be understandable of that because we are living through this fucking pandemic. So just wanted to give that news out.
Doing so good.
Yeah. I know, right? So let's slide into different range of topics. Let's talk about movie reviews briefly because, you know, we're Blerds. For the culture, we could not go this week without talking about the biggest sequel to a classic and that Blerds have been able to talk about in a long time, which is Coming to America. You know, there was much skepticism about this movie even before it was released. You know, people fall into the arguments when you touch a classic, should they, shouldn't they? But the fact that this one was rated PG-13 and it had this laundry list of like cameos and stars made a lot of people go into the movie with lowered expectations. Now that we've all seen it and all the Blerds have seen it on here, do you wish they had left the original alone or were you happy to see this story be brought back? Jay, I'm gonna go to you first.
I enjoyed the movie. I'm cool with them making a sequel, honestly, because of how they made this one. I will say that if you were, you know, I said this, you know, in our chat, like if you were expecting this movie to be like the first Coming to America, then you know, your disappointment is your own fault. You know, you played yourself, as DJ Khaled would say. But like I enjoyed this movie. My wife probably enjoyed it more than I did. She gave it like an 8.5, and I gave it like a solid 7.5. Like I said, like I enjoyed it. Like I have no problem with Eddie Murphy not even making a sequel, you know, for something that he made, and he got everybody a check. You know what I'm saying? Talk about like black empowerment. You know what I'm saying? Like he put all the original people in. He had introduced some new guys in. I'm all for it, man. It wasn't cheesy, you know. It wasn't Tobias like shit. It was like I thought it was a cool family movie. Like it wasn't like one of those raunchy family movies that you know that we like, but like it was. I think it was a cool family movie, especially in the climate that we in nowadays. It was cool to like, you know, sit down and watch a movie where my kids, I didn't have to really like look at them while they react to something. You know what I'm saying? And I might have to have like a conversation after the movie to explain some things. You know, we watched Coming to America, the first one, and I had to explain some things because there was a lot of F-bombs in that. But this one was like, they just enjoyed it and laughed at certain things, you know what I'm saying, without me like having to like, you know, have that father-kid conversation like, all right, kids, this is what this is and that. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it was a cool family movie, man. For real.
Yeah. So Tobias Black, I'm coming to you next because I hear that and I know that the tone was different. Yeah. Obviously, this one was much more family oriented than the original, and that's been that people fall into either two camps. You know, either they were cool with that or they're like, yo, the first was raunchy. I expected the second to be raunchy. Tobias, what did you feel about it, man? Did you feel like you were happy that they continued the story overall, or do you wish that they had pretty much left it alone?
So I've been trying to, hear everybody's points about it. For me, as me being a fan of the first one, I didn't go in thinking it was going to be like the first one, which is why I always said they shouldn't have touched it. Far as like, him bringing in black actors and more people stuff. Yeah, I commend Eddie for that. That's dope. But if we look at the movie as what it's supposed to be, a comedy, it wasn't funny. Mm-hmm. It just wasn't. Wow. Even my wife laughed at more stuff, lighthearted stuff than me. And I asked my wife at the end of the movie, like, yo, you didn't even laugh once? And then she started laughing like, yo, I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
we didn't
crazy.
really.
Wow, Alex.
Me personally, I didn't laugh until Randy Watson came out, and I chuckled.
That was the end.
And I right, that's what I'm saying. And I chuckled when he came out. It just wasn't.
Wow.
It just wasn't funny to me, man. But I do like I like the nostalgia of it. I like that he got everybody back in there. That was dope. To me, they could have just did like a reunion show, like how Will Smith did with the Fresh Prince. They could have did that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of making it in the movie, because if they make it in a movie, I'm expecting to laugh. You know what I'm saying? I want to laugh.
Yeah.
Like imagine them remaking Harlem Nights. Y'all want that?
No.
Nah.
It depends on who. It depends on.
Probably
I mean,
not.
I don't think nobody wanted a Captain America. I mean, not a Captain America. Coming to America 2. I don't think nobody wanted it, but like when they announced that is happening, it was like, all right, let's see what it is.
And the times are different too, right? Like, I mean, we live in a different culture now than we probably, than we did in the 80s. So Mace, I'm gonna ask you the question next. From that context, of us being culturally in a different place, were you okay with them, bringing this back, or do you feel like at the end of the day, I wish they had just left it alone?
No, I was good with them bringing it back. It was to me, I enjoyed the movie. It was a good movie. It was a safe movie, family movie.
It was.
I think that they did tiptoe a lot.
They did.
It was too many comedians in there for them to tiptoe the way they did. But the culture that we're in today, this council culture, is something else, So, so it's like they have to be a little careful with some of the jokes, And what was that?
Yeah, no, I mean to cut you off. I don't think they were too careful though, because they poke fun at like how the climate is today. You know what I'm saying? Like in a barbershop, or what they said, like, yo, I could get away with touching. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, like I got all my feels out. You know what I'm saying? Like they poked fun at like how climate is today. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like they was walking a thin line that they didn't like really cross or go back to. But go ahead, my bad.
No, I mean I think that's okay. They poke fun at it, but that's them acknowledging like, yes, we're in a culture where they will cancel us quick. So let's be careful with what we say. Yeah, back in the day we could say this, but today we can't say this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's true. That's true. And I like that little subtle nod when they were talking about even like people remaking classics.
Right.
Like they were aware that there was going to be this type of criticism about them bringing it back. Cap, my question, last coming to you, is like, at the end of the day, did you feel after watching this like it was worth that risk? Do you feel like it paid off in the end?
A part of me try to not be judgmental. You know what I mean? Like I feel like, like, damn, was this a money grab? I listened to some interviews that said, man, there's so many people still talking about coming to America. So like, was it like nostalgia? Did it move the story and the legacy further? Creative integrity to me. You know what I mean? But it's his property, as Jay said. It's his property, so he could do with it as he wants to. But it was a rated R movie. What was that, 30 years ago, right? 25, 30 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
This was a family movie. And so, yeah, it was essentially a family movie because I could sit my daughter down and watch it with her. And for me, like, that wasn't what I was looking for. I watched that shit by myself. I was trying, I'm trying to sit back and see, like, man, what crazy shit they gonna say. I ain't even look at the ratings of it. I ain't know it was like PG-13, And so was it nostalgia-wise? Did it touch on, stuff that made us happy about it? For sure. It hit on that. It paid homage to the legacy, but was it something that I felt needed to be done? I could have lived without it. If I'm gonna keep it playing, I could have lived.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
When I thought about this question and posed it to you, I wanted to hear your opinions on it because personally, I'm not as like with most people, I'm not as hands off when it comes to classics. I have nothing wrong with them bringing some properties back that I think are always going to be somewhat relatable to fans, but I will say, for me personally, I was excited to see Eddie and Arsenio back together after all of these years, to share the screen together, to do their iconic characters again, the Randy Watsons and the pastor. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I laughed throughout it. So, I was happy that they brought it back, but comedy, of course, is subjective, and each individual has their own taste in terms of what they find funny. Overall, though, years from now, do you think this movie will be remembered in the same way as the original was remembered? Do the way we can go back to the original and quote jokes and moments? Were there any in this sequel, any moments, any jokes that you think people are going to remember the way that we remember the classic of the 80s? And Jay, I already heard you say no. So
I think everybody going to say no.
Agreed.
Nah, not at all.
Nah.
Which is fine, though. I think it's fine.
That's what I felt.
I think it's cool.
But that's where I feel like that's where I felt the most. If I felt anything disappointed about the movie, because I'm glad they made it. I thought it was funny. My wife would call me a liar if I said I didn't laugh because she was sitting next to me. I laughed the whole time. But I don't feel like there was a single joke or moment that I'm gonna be talking about 5, 10, 20 years ago. From now. The way that I can quote the original, the way that I can remember the original. And that is the only missed opportunity, if we want to talk about missed opportunities, is like there wasn't anything that stood out in this film that was iconic, that was funny, so funny that it's going to transcend time the way that the original did.
All right, let me say, I did laugh at some parts. The parts when they flash back to the regular Coming to America, I laughed.
Yeah.
You wrong.
Get your ass out of here. I'm thinking you had a real epiphany or some shit.
I remember.
So overall, then Tobias, how would you rate it out of 6 Infinity Stones? What would you rate Coming to America?
It would get a 3.
A 3. Okay.
I'm giving it a 3 because to me overall it wasn't funny, but the nostalgia was there, and I agree with y'all with the a family movie, like you could sit down and watch it with your family. I agree with y'all on that, but it just wasn't funny to me. So it's a comedy. It wasn't funny. I give it a 3.
All right, Captain Kirk. I see you looking skeptical, bro. What you rating it? 6 out of 6 Infinity Stones.
Yeah, I would give it a 2.53, probably a 3. I give it a 3. I
that looked like a tough 3. Like you had to think about that,
man, because I mean, you really like. I thought about Bad Boys as y'all was talking. Like continuation of the legacy of the actual franchise, and the impact of the first movie based on how they closed out the third. I just feel like I can't, and it don't matter because I don't get no fucking money for this. So I'm gonna say it plain. Like I just can't respect that shit. Like I could not. Like I did not laugh. I'm with Alex. Like I may have giggled and chuckled at something, but I'm gonna give it a 2. I'm going to give it a 2 because now I'm so mad at what I'm saying out my mouth.
I see.
I'm going to give that shit a 2 for sure.
He like, I don't get paid for this shit, so I'm going to tell it how it is.
That shit is a classic, bro.
Not yet. We getting there, but that's fair, man. I don't have a problem with that. Mace, would you agree though? What would your rating be out of 6?
Out of 6, I give it like a 3, man. I feel like Eddie Murphy, he has the right to say fuck this culture, he excuse my language, but he has the right to just say fuck it. Because
pause. Hold on. Excuse your language.
What?
What's going on? Is our shit PG-13 now?
No, it's not. We are rated R.
Well, fuck that.
Sorry,
then,
Mr.
Mace.
X. I'm sorry.
Speak your shit. Speak your shit by any means necessary.
That's right, Mr. X. I'm sorry. All right.
Mr. X.
Mr. X.
But no, seriously though, like it was too many comedians in this movie for it to not be as funny. Like I laughed at, I chuckled, ha ha. But and then I enjoyed it because, like I said, it was a family movie. But it should have been funnier. Too many comedians for it to not be as funny as it should have been, So 3 Infinity Stones.
All right, Jay.
Y'all say too many comedians. I mean, Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall,
The original cast,
which is Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, because they played a lot of characters.
Tracy
Morgan. He was funny. I
some new up and coming comedians.
Okay.
They had the African dude.
Wesley was the best person in that, man.
Right, which is crazy.
Wesley
right?
was funny.
He was
Wesley
the
was
funniest
funny.
one.
Yeah.
I would say I would give this probably. I'm gonna say 6 instant classic.
You trolling.
You trolling. You
Troll.
No, I give it I say a 3.5. 3.5.
I was about to log off on your ass. I was about to say,
I give it a 3.5. I give it a 3.5 because I mean 3.
I
No,
would
matter of
too.
fact, I would lean more toward a 4, only because I chuckled, I laughed, like I was like I really enjoyed the movie. Like, is it like one of those great instant classics? Like, nah, but like, shit, you know what I'm saying? Like it was one of those, like the tone of it reminded me of like one of those like
Medea.
no hell one of those
Damn.
like one of those like a Are You There Yet? You know what I'm saying? Like a
I got that
like
same
a tone.
feel, yeah.
it was like the
That's
tone
even
of it
worse.
was like a family movie.
A family movie.
You know what
I
I'm
get
saying?
it. I
Like
get
a
it.
Dr. Doolittle. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like that type of tone, which was
Right.
Yeah.
which was cool. Like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like amazing. That's what I'm saying.
You know,
y'all
I feel
tough.
you. I would.
Y'all
I
tough
would
on anything
mind-
but Marvel. Look at y'all.
No. Hold on. I'm gonna shock you.
Go ahead.
I actually agree with you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go a step above you and say I'd give it a solid
Okay.
4 out of 6. I mean, for me, I'll be the first to say it knocks two stones off because I agree. This is not gonna be for me a memorable movie. It's not gonna be quoted the same way I quote the first, but. I laughed through most of it. My wife would attest. I laughed and chuckled my way through the film. But two, I think that the tribute to the culture, how intentional they were with some of those scenes, the dancing, the performances, the singing, it all felt like you were watching like Wakanda. I mean, it felt very authentic in terms of authentic.
Hold on, Mike.
So
Hold
you
on
mean
now.
to tell me?
Hold on.
So you mean to tell me?
Don't go
the
that
scene-
far. Don't go that far.
The scene
Wakanda,
with,
bruh.
I'll wait.
He said
I'll wait. Go
Wakanda.
ahead.
So you mean to tell me the scene
So-
where he brought Tiana Taylor and they just got the mic and started rapping the whole song? Reminds you of Wakanda.
No. So when I said Wakanda, what I meant is in
She
terms
look
of
good,
its approach at black culture. Like I felt like it was intentional about representing black culture. Now, does it entirely represent African culture? No, and the original didn't either. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like you could tell that there was some thought given to how we were represented on screen and how authentic that it all felt. I'm glad that they made it. At the end of the day, if it helps tell or advance the story for this next generation of folks who didn't live through the 80s, didn't live through the experience of seeing the first, when it came out, then I'm happy for it. I'm happy that story continued. And again, I'm happy that Eddie and Arsenio got back together before, because we all getting older, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just glad to see them two reconnect on screen together, before their end. So anyway,
I get you.
that's the story. Yeah. But let's move on. We got some music topics to talk about really quick. Then we got a couple of comics. Tobias Black, take us through some of the music topics that's going on for Blerds this week.
All right. So first, I just want to let's go ahead and put it out there real quick. Drake came out with a new mixtape. Was it mixtape, right? Would you call it a mixtape or EP?
EP, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the EP. What's y'all thoughts on it, man?
I enjoyed the 3 songs. I thought it was cool.
Straight hits. Straight hits.
Hits.
Straight hits.
It was cool. It was cool. Like it
I'm-
was.
I'm relying on Jay and Mace on this. I did not listen to it, and Cap. I did not listen to it. So y'all gonna have to get y'all opinions on this.
I mean, listen. I said it was cool, man. It's good tracks. It's just a warm up. He's like dropping some heat, to get the blood flowing. Pause. To get your body moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't come out here with no slander, cause like I just know, I can hear it in Tobias Black right now. He about to say some bullshit.
No.
Can hear it in your voice.
So I gave. I'm not the biggest Drake fan here, but I gave it some spins, man. I gave it the 30-second smell test.
30 seconds.
The smell test.
I did like the lemon pepper one. You know what I'm saying? That was pretty decent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Ross.
saying? I could see them, doing a John together, doing an album together. You know, they mix well together.
Yeah, for sure.
Them other two joints, John, nah, I ain't. When he get to that crooning, I turn it off.
There you go.
You got to think about this though, dude. Like Drake is like when Drake drops an album or some songs or whatever,
The world stopped.
the world stops. You listen. You know that it's about to be a good summer. We about to have a good summer.
Do you feel like the world stopped, Tobias?
Well, of course he doesn't feel like that.
Did your world stop?
It was all over social media, Twitter, all that shit, man. Come on, man.
I mean, of course,
Don't be disrespectful.
I'm acknowledge that, because Drake has that force. You know what I'm saying? I can't say he don't have that force. You know what I'm saying? Everybody love Drake. You know what I'm saying? He got the machine behind him. He can't do no wrong right now. You know what I'm saying?
He is.
But did it stop for me?
Well,
it didn't stop for me. It didn't impress me. I'm just like, all right, he still sound like a good R&B artist that could rap. You know what I'm saying? He
Damn.
still
Okay.
No,
it.
he's a rapper that can make R&B hits. Just not get it
Cap.
twisted, man.
Cap,
I
let
still
me
not
ask.
call him no MC.
Let
He ain't
me
no
ask
MC.
Cap though. Let me ask you. You as impartial. You're. I wouldn't necessarily put you on a far extreme as calling you like a Drake, like a true Drake fan, but you like Drake. You appreciate his music. Did your world stop when he dropped these 3 tracks as has been described, or you like, yeah, it was cool? Like, where you fall on the spectrum? that does it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, it's on cue, baby.
That's what
You
I'm
feel
talking
me?
about.
Queued up and ready.
Yeah.
Pepper.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Man, listen.
Hey, when I woke up, I saw Drake drop the track. I stopped everything. I ain't even go to the bathroom
That's what I'm talking about. His world
until I
stopped.
listen to all 3 songs, bruh. Get at me, man. Come on,
Man.
Tobias. Put some respect on him before I send fucking Birdman after your ass.
Well, let me just say, I know this is unrelated to Drake. My world stopped this week, but not because of Drake. 2 of my favorite artists, I just got to shout it out real quick. 2 of my favorite artists, Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars, collaborated on a joint that if you ain't heard it, it's one of the most soulful songs I've heard in a minute. It's called Leave the Door Open. They doing an album together that's dropping soon. I've probably played Leave the Door Open 100 times already. The joint is fire. That I'm excited that they too have come together. So on a music tip, it's been exciting. Although I can't say that any albums have come out recently that like I'm super excited about. But we got some projects coming up. So we'll expand the music segment on our next one. We've got some stuff with like top MCs we're going to be discussing. So look forward to that discussion. But in the interest of time, I want to switch gears and talk through a very exciting comic review that we got today. So last week, Urbanime finally blessed us with volume 1 of its long anticipated Relic comic. I was honored to be a part of their launch event and encourage everyone to follow, like, subscribe to Urbanime. We're going to review volume 1 now with spoilers. So if you haven't read it and intend to, we recommend fast forwarding through this part of the show. But we really want to encourage everyone to go grab a copy on Amazon and support Urbanime, support these black creators, writers, and artists. Search Relic Comic on Amazon or go to their website for the links, or go to urbanime.com. But let's get into it, y'all. The story of Relic revolves around Bobby and Troy Gilbert, who we learn are orphaned after their parents and older brother go missing after taking an expedition to recover an artifact, right? Now, their grandmother continued to raise them, but later passed, leaving the 2 brothers to fend for themselves. Before she leaves, she gives them each a gift. Troy got an amulet. Bobby got her journal. Later, the brothers get into a fight over the amulet, and it seems to trigger some power that transforms Bobby into like a hulking rock monster and gives Troy the power to do all kinds of shit. He could like teleport, speed, strength, all kind of shit. It ends with the brothers, though, getting separated. Bobby taking on the police and literally like throwing Troy's ass somewhere safe. Troy is later seen at the apartment one last time before teleporting off. So, question, first about the story itself. Overall, and Cap, I'll go to you first on this. Overall, did you feel like it was relatable? those of us with brothers, did you feel Troy and Bobby's relationship felt authentic? Cap?
Right. So in essence of you think about like their parents died at a fairly early age. And so Bobby, the older brother, right? He took on responsibility for Troy for many years. And it really shined a light on that early, like Bobby trying to hustle to get Troy what he need to compete in this competition and all that shit. And then, you know, at the same time, you got this younger brother that don't appreciate how you hustling. And so that dynamic of they conflict, but they love and how they don't questioning, defending each other, even though they know they wrong. I could relate to that because with siblings, like you can point that shit out afterwards. But when we in the moment, ain't nobody gonna come at you foul, and nobody gonna come at me foul while each of us present. And I think the dialogue in there is relatable. It kind of feel like home, sorta. You know, they got to keep it kind of PG-13, but it's some way how they trying to play each other and talk to each other that's relatable for sure. Lastly, the art on that is dope. I don't know if y'all ever read Street Fighter 2, the comic books and stuff like that, but they got that smooth cartoon art, bright art and shades that's really good in the book. And the opening issue is promising for like what's to come. So you know y'all always talking about Marvel. You know Marvel gonna do this. Well, you know, with this particular thing, it opens up. It ends with like what are their powers for and how good they'll be with them. So it's good so far.
Yeah. I feel that, you know, and that's the thing, like having a brother myself, Z Ali, who's on the show, I definitely saw in their reaction or their interactions with each other, parts of my brotherhood, right? Like parts of my, you know, how me and my brother interact. And Bobby, you know, one of the things that I appreciate about his character is like neither one of them asked to be put in the situation they did. Like you said, you know, they were orphaned, you know, unexpectedly, grandma passed, and he went straight into like, I got to provide, I got to protect, you know what I mean? Where I don't, you know, Troy did kind of the same. Like he found ways of making money through skateboarding, but their dynamic, the love that was there felt authentic to me. The conversations felt like those that I would have with my brother. Jay, how'd you feel about the story, man? Did you feel it was relatable and the relationship between the brothers?
Yeah, it was relatable. It felt authentic. It was just weird. It was just weird reading Ebonics sometimes. Like saying bruh and saying stuff like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like some of the, you could tell like some of the dialogue didn't, like it's almost like they forced it to be there, but like it didn't really need to in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's almost like they're trying to find a voice.
Yeah.
Authentic voice.
Yeah. But it was definitely relatable. Cause you have that big brother, little brother, right? Big brother tired of taking care of little brother. I was just kind of shocked that big brother took like the evil route in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that's the amulet that gave him that evilness, but the little brother, the amulet, you know, he was still had his you know, his good nature. You know what I'm saying? So I guess we'll see on the next.
But even with that, he tried to protect his brother. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it was like. But
it was more. It was. But as far as like, it like he wanted it for the wrong reasons in a sense. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
You know.
I'm gonna get to that because I actually have a point, you know, on that in terms of what his intentions were. I'll say this: we didn't really see what led into him, you know, getting into it with the police. Like I had to go back and look at it. When he touched the amulet, he was in a fight with his brother, and we know he knocked Troy out, right? But right after that, the very next panel is him standing in the streets. And the very first thing that you read in the next panel is the police saying we have the threat surrounded. And, you know, if you think about this in terms of, you know, like how we're seen by law enforcement as threats, and that's one of the things I love about, you know, when we write our own stories. It's like you got a young guy who just transformed into something. He has no idea where this shit came from. He's scared, angry, confused, and just attacked his brother with this new power. We don't know what he went outside thinking, but the police responded to him, and the first thing they saw was a threat, and they responded as such.
He was
And
a
so-
monster.
Right. But,
Hey, bro.
but again,
He
but
looked like the
again,
thing, bro. He was,
but again,
was
right.
rocks.
But
You
again,
say he
it's
was
like,
profiled?
did he have an opportunity? but did Bobby have an opportunity to be seen as anything but a threat? Again, like as soon as he stepped outside, yeah, that's how people will react. I get it. Like, don't
Okay.
get me wrong. Like, I'm
I
not
don't
saying
know.
that like if you don't see a monster in the street or something that looks different, that we're not gonna react to it that way. But what I'm saying is, can we really label him as being evil or whatever? And if that was his reaction, his initial reaction for getting these powers were, yo, that's a threat, we got him surrounded. It's symbolic, right? So I just like that aspect to it. But real quick, Mace, same question in terms of the story, the way that it was told. How did it feel to you? Did it feel authentic to you? Did you feel that the brothers' relationship was related?
Well, first I'm gonna say this, man. I'm just now getting into comics, so that was a pretty cool read. But I thought it was relatable. I don't have a brother, but I have a sister, and I'm the oldest. So I minus the evil shit, I saw myself in the big brother. You know, like when he brought the money to the skateboarding competition, right? And then he was flirting with the chick.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I used to do stuff like that. Like, it's pretty cool. But
Yep.
it's pretty cool. Like, you seeing you seeing the flashbacks, right? To the grandmother, when the grandmother was taking care of them and all that. Yeah, man. This is a pretty good read, man. And then to piggyback off what Captain Kirk said, as far as like with the art, man, this is dope, man. Like the bright colors and then the dark skin. That's pretty cool, man. So I'm excited to see, I'm excited to see the next releases, man.
Yeah.
Quick question.
Let's talk
My
about.
bad.
Oh, I'm
Like,
sorry.
So,
Go ahead, Jay.
so we about to like go into like the actual story of it. So do y'all think the parents are actually dead? Because I don't think they're dead.
Yeah, so in terms of predictions, I was gonna predict that I think they're alive, and I think they'll come up at some point. But will they be the same? Like, will they, in the way that the amulet has transformed them? Will we see their parents as the same, their brother as the same? I don't think so, because I think if it was easy for them to come back as being the same, they would have by now. So I think that there's a possibility that his parents are still alive, that their brother is still alive, but I don't think they're going to be the same people. What do you all think?
It's like, I just want something different. You know what I'm saying? As far as like storytelling, besides the, my parents, like we get the parents, died a lot in stories. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like, I just hope it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Even though that's already like, in the background, but like, I just hope the story don't become one of those typical superhero stories. You know what I'm saying? Because they have an opportunity to like really do something unique and different. That's what I say.
Yeah. And I think, I agree with you. And I think that there were glimpses in this first volume that gave me hope that they're going in some different directions. Because one of the questions I was going to ask you all was regarding the amulet. When Troy picked it up for the first time, the amulet spoke to him. It asked him, like, who are you, Troy Gilbert? So in addition to giving them both powers, and I'll come to you first on this one, Cap, do you feel like the amulet is doing anything to their personalities as well? Was Bobby's lashing out at the police a response to his feeling more powerful, or do you think it's being influenced by the amulet?
I mean, I think it heightens emotions. I think we always got a lot of internal things that we struggle with, and a lot of Bobby stuff was, man, my brother won't say thank you, or I got this, I take care of this. And then it was heightened tenfold, like everything he did from that point was like to prove a point, that I'm the guy, I'm the dude that's been doing this. And for Troy, Troy seems to be like noble in essence, and like, let's do this the right way, legacy of my family and things of that nature. So when he got exposed, it's almost like he became like that ideal hero in essence. So I think the amulet plays off of what our subconscious is saying, essentially, and they probably developed their powers off of that. Bobby's a protector. What's more covered than fucking rocks and lava? You know what I mean? And my man Troy is more versatile. You know what I mean? He kind of operate in different spaces, so his powers, you could teleport, you can move with speed, you got a little bit of strength, you got energy projection. So just kind of seeing how the amulet can kind of push. It seemed like the powers identify with the character of the person, and I thought that was cool. I don't know if that's the angle they taking, but if it is, that'd be dope.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and it's kind of cool. Like kind of interesting how the grandmother, she gave the omelet to what was his name? The younger brother.
Yeah, so she gave Troy she gave
The
Troy
young
amulet,
the
yeah.
amulet, but she gave Bobby the journal. Yeah.
Okay, not omelet.
Just for the audience, I'm looking like, did he just say omelet?
I'm about to go make me an
Amulet.
omelet.
All right,
I'm hungry, man. Don't start talking about it. I'm hungry.
I know
Oh my
what you
God,
meant.
yeah.
I
All right,
know
okay,
what you
hold
meant, Mace.
So she gave the amulet to the younger brother, which is Troy, right?
Yeah,
And then she gave the older
Yep.
guy, which is Bobby,
Bobby,
journal.
the journal.
It was like,
Didn't read.
Right, he clearly
I
didn't
did
read.
No, not you. I'm saying
No, not you, Bobby. Bobby didn't read the journal.
I did read it. Damn. What y'all on, man?
hey, that's your fault, bro.
What y'all on with me, man? Yeah.
But yo, Jay, let me ask you this because where Mace was going with that is actually a question I was gonna ask. So where do you think they're gonna go from here in terms of the story? Do you think that they're gonna try discovering the truth about their parents, or do you think that they're gonna try helping or saving each other next? Where do you see the characters going?
Well, I think they need to. I think they're going to probably try to figure out like what's going on with this amulet. So I think they need to like read the journal. I think that'll probably be like in the next volume with them reading, seeing what's going on, and then maybe that will like, trigger their like curiosity of what really happened with their parents and stuff. But then it was another. I had got confused where they shows like some guys playing basketball, and then like a CIA agent, like some type of agent showed up.
They got a third brother.
Okay, is that who the brother
Right.
is? That's their third brother. So he got kids. Those two kids, are those his kids, or like which one was the brother?
No. So that was Troy and Bobby that were outside playing ball with their older brother. A CIA agent showed up to
So
talk
was that
to
like
them,
a
and he took them
flashback or
inside.
some shit? Okay.
But it wasn't
it
clear
was a
though.
flashback.
It wasn't
Yeah,
clear. I
it
get what
wasn't.
you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was.
and they left the mystery open in terms of like who was dude, what did he
Yeah.
want. They didn't really close the loop on that, so I think that's definitely going to play a part in the development of the
Yeah.
story. So yeah, and we were talking about illustration earlier, and we were talking about how great the artwork was. Did any panels sort of jump out at you, like in this one? Did any of the pages or panels sort of jump at you? For me, like the one I remember, when I was flipping through the pages, the one that stood out to me the most in terms of like the artwork was when Troy discovered his powers, and they had that fight, and it was like you saw like
The
he
blue.
was asking. Yeah, he was asking like, who taught you how to fight? And he like, you did. And it was like a sequence where he was like dodging and punch. That sequence to me, that was like the panel where I was like, shit, this dude got skills on the
Yeah.
illustration tip. Did any of the panels kind of jump out at y'all?
Yeah, all of it, man. Like I said, it's the artwork was just amazing. Like I said, the dark
Amazing,
skin and
yeah.
then the bright colors. Man, I loved it. Man.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the more quiet panels, like without the action. Like they put a good emphasis on
The
the
dialogue.
coloring. Yeah, but the dialogue and like the facial expressions to that. Like I think like that's the key thing with like comic books, like, cause they gotta articulate feelings through like visuals versus not just dialogue, but like, and I thought they did a good job of that. Like when Grandma was in the hospital, even it was a shot, like an overhead shot, like of them like looking above her, and it was so bright, like it showed her eyes like real big. I just think like the way they picking out how they articulate those emotions through the art is real good throughout the book, but at the more quiet moments, it's really good.
I agree. To piggyback off Captain Carey, I agree with those shots. It almost felt like a director was like, you know, I don't know if he consult like they had like a good director like to consult with them on like how they, you know, wanted to you know draw these to illustrate, you know, what they were doing. So I like the action parts, and I like the, you know, some of the subtleness of it too. But I was more, you know, interested in the dialogue because sometimes comics can just like gloss over things, but like you can tell like they were very intentional on what they were like trying to talk about and what kind of message they wanted to like portray. So I can appreciate that for sure. I enjoy great dialogue.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I think it's important that we have these conversations on Blerds, and we're going to continue. So as Volume 2 comes out and others, we're going to continue to bring, you know, it here, because I feel like we need to be able to support these stories being told authentically by us, for us, and in all of these different mediums. We do it for movies, TV shows. We got to do it when it comes to comics. So even for listeners, for those of you following us online, if you all find out about other works that artists, creators, writers are producing that you think we should check out, recommend them, because we want to use this space to sort of highlight that and to talk about it and discuss it, because, you know, we know how difficult it is breaking into that industry, and we're just super proud of Urbanime for taking this step and going out there and creating this art, creating this comic. So huge shout out to Chris Walker, man, the entire team out there with Urbanime.
Great job.
We appreciate you guys. We're looking forward to Volume 2. Again, go out, find it if you haven't already.
Do they know when Volume 2 is coming out? I know this just released.
No, so the way they doing the releases is kind of like sneaker drops. So you got to follow them. You got to keep up with them on social media and everything to find out about the next drop. They're not going to announce it in advance, just like they didn't announce the first drop. So you got to go online. You got to subscribe. You got to follow them to get a heads up on the next drop. But I'm definitely looking
I'll
forward
follow
to
them if they follow me back.
Yeah, they gotta follow Blerds. They gotta follow Blerds.
Yeah,
right.
Facts.
Sharing is caring.
Speaking of which, if you're still listening, please don't forget to, if you're not already, follow, like, subscribe to @Blerds the Word on Facebook, Instagram, and all of the different ways that you can listen, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, or any of the other mediums. We appreciate all of you for supporting this show. You're the reason we continue to do it. So with that said, guys, I think this concludes episode 15. To all our listeners, thank you so much for supporting us. And with that, Blerds out. Blerds, the work, Mike B, Jay Supreme. Blerds, the work, is Z Ali, Captain Kirk. Blerds, the work, circa 85, Tobias Black.